Here we are at the University Bookstore, serving Purdue students since 1939. Let's take a look around. Most people know the University Bookstore as the go-to place for Purdue students to find textbooks, school supplies, and Purdue Spirit apparel and gifts. The original establishment, located at the corner of Grant and State Street, is almost a part of the campus itself, niched between the Student Union, Cranor, and Rawls Hall. The bookstore has made strides towards integrating itself with the campus even more with its Purdue-esque red brick and the renovation to the front face of the building to include this tower inspired by the clock tower which is at the center of Purdue's campus. The building where the bookstore is currently located has not always housed supplies for college students, nor was it originally even a single building. Before the building was purchased to serve the purpose it does now in 1939, it was 3 separate commercial buildings including a candy shop, a supply store, and a cafeteria. It was only through numerous renovations and expansions that the building became what it is now. We sat down with Tom Fry, the general manager of the University Bookstore, to learn more about the store and its history.
It started as a supply store, then went to added textbooks, and then over the course of the time, it's, in the early 70s, calculators were unbelievable.
With enrollment in colleges all over the nation growing and at an all-time high in the 1930s, close friends Jimmy Morris and George Racine jumped on the chance to invest in the growing market. Morris owned a student supply store at the University in Kentucky in Lexington, and Racine a similar business at the Northwestern University in Evanston, Illinois. The friends wanted to combine their experience in a joint venture and decided upon West Lafayette and Purdue University because it was right between the two.
At the time, everybody wanted to be located by the Purdue National Bank building because across the street was the post office and City Hall and the Vons building now. And so that was the center of West Lafayette.
However, there was already a bookstore in the area that the entrepreneurs wished to use to their advantage. The Village Bookstore, located in the Southworth building, had been in business since 1809, and the men thought that it would make a great location.
George and Jimmy walked in the store and asked the guy if he'd want to work for him. So he said sure. And so they huddled around, they figured out the price, and I went up to Mary Southworth and said, "We'd like to buy your store," and she promptly fired him.
That was not the end of the men's dreams, however. They looked a little further down State Street, found a similar supply shop owned by Red Salmons, and by 1939 they opened the doors to their new supply store. In the 1940s, in an attempt to further promote the sale of their own supplies, the owners of the store decided to coin a logo to be applied to all supplies to create a brand for themselves. Wallace and Racine hired local artist Art Evans to draw a Boilermaker to use as an icon for the store.
People from the debris came in, wanted to use it on the debris, and they just asked him, "Well, what's his name?" And they had never named it till then, so the guy was just off the top of his head, Pete. Because Purdue, it could have been Purdue Paul for all but it just came out like that. So that's how he named Purdue Pete, just on the spur of an interview.
Purdue Pete has evolved from this simple logo into a member of the Spirit team at all Purdue athletic events, but his origin can still be seen on the side of the building that created him. Thanks for looking back at West Lafayette with us. We'll see you next time. We hope that you have learned something new about your community through this video, and if you know anything else interesting about the University Bookstore and its history, we would love to hear about it. Contact us at wllookingback@gmail.com to share your stories.